There we go.
All right, Felix asked me to start the video that I give the details of the proposal that we are working on. So this is the Polkadot Cardano uniFires proposal. I don't know if that's the actual title, uniFires, and the number is something. We have this monthly thing that we do. We capture the knowledge from each of the working groups. So this is what you're looking at now if you are watching the recording. So we have Felix from governance, we have Mark from interoperability, and we have Linda or Lou from adoption. And each of them will have 15 minutes to go through what they have done so far and what's happening next, focusing especially on the group formation now, like how to let people know what we're doing and invite them in and start onboarding people into the working groups. So to support this, we have the document where we take all the notes, and then based on this, we will accumulate knowledge and we will write the final report in the end. So guys, please add in under your working group titles your material either now or after the meeting. And yeah, whoever wants to go first, you can start, and you have 15 minutes.
Oh, I can start first, if you want. Okay, governance workgroup, really good so far. The approach we took, already governance workgroup is me, Felix, Cardano ambassador, and Victor, Polkadot ambassador. The approach we took was in the beginning to reach out to some key people from both ecosystems, Cardano and Polkadot, on topic governance. Reach out to them, get them familiar already with uniFires, start to conversations with them. Was really good. So we have now quite active, small network already of key players within governance on both ecosystems, which are well introduced to uniFires and the idea already, and also who all signaled interest in participating in following workshops with the workgroup. Today we host actually. Later this day, we host our first kickoff on governance, where we define our action items for the topics on the 4 upcoming workshops over the next 12 months. Then we checked in as well for some nice collaborations, which, for example, the Cardano Foundation, where we look on collaborating on first in-person workshops, for example, and make sure stuff is aligned and coordinated. What else? We defined our workshop format already and strategy. We defined how we want to document everything. We will use our uniFires Discord for general communications. Singularity and Ambassadors program governance will support and most likely join as well. What else? That's so far that I would say. Everything pretty awesome, pretty nice, advancing well. And very excited for everything what will come up from it. Yeah.
Do you have some good case practices that you could share with the other working groups? Some things that you found very useful and that others could learn from?
Surely, but what, for example, you mean for organizing or?
That's a generic question for all these knowledge capture meetings. You don't need to answer now, but if you come up with something later, you can share.
Okay, so something valuable learned, what can be shared within the work group?
Yeah, something that other working groups might want to adopt also.
Yeah, cool, definitely. The format for the workshops where you said, okay, ideally, because we plan to run this whole thing in the next 3 months, right? So we say, okay, we really don't have a lot of time. So we define a series of 4 workshops, whereby each workshop will be targeted on a very specific topic in regard to governance. And each of these topics, once the topics are defined, which will happen in today's call and actually later, then we will invite experts specifically to these topics from both ecosystems, making sure we really have the highest quality of folks there. Document everything, take notes with AI note taker, feed everything into a Gitbook, and feed everything into a GPT. And this quite nice format generally for structuring workshops and making sure knowledge, let's say, stays accessible and useful.
All right, thanks. Looking forward to hear more. Then Mark or Linda, would you like to go next?
Ladies first.
Okay, I can go first. Hello guys. So I'm from Adoption group. My name is Linda, and I'm Polkadot Senior Ambassador, and I'm with the group with Peter. So that's small intro. So we have been this month. We spent time preparing workshops, and we said it first. The way how we will be communicating with those people, because first we need to select who we want to invite to workshop, what we want to talk about in the workshop, what will be the topics, and what are the outcomes and goal of each workshop. So first we were asking questions how we, for example, sell this workshop to people, because it's not always easy just to invite anyone. So we've been thinking about the ways how to communicate with people. And we prepared a document. I will probably later post it somewhere or edit, but I'm on my phone, so I cannot now send it or edit anywhere. But in that document, we prepared the way how we will be communicating with people. We defined maybe a goal, like general goal. What is the goal for the workshop, and also we prepared some brief instructions for people. What do they need maybe prepare for the workshop? So it's not like every workshop will start with just us explaining what we are on these things. So this is something we want to avoid. So yeah, and then we were talking about a number of workshops we will have. We are very open to have 5 and maybe even more. And it will be blend of nomination of people and inviting people, and also public. This will depend on how we didn't define all the workshops that we are going to have. We only prepared like topics, and each of the workshop is similar, as the governance group will be focused on something else, adoption of maybe different kind, or just different platforms. For example, we will be focusing on, for example, I can tell you, like, we have already some ideas, education, for example, game designer, then NFTs, music platforms, and these things. And we want to work on also with people that are already in those, like maybe experts from the each group, to discuss adoption with them. And yeah, we already prepared, we set up together our Calendly, so people can just, first me and Peter put together Calendly, we connected our calendars, so this may be also tip for others if you need help with scheduling. So when we will be sending a calendar to someone, it will be easier to just to schedule the call. And yeah, and we already started inviting first people. First workshop will be most likely 8th of April. It's a bit late, but we've been both traveling a bit, so we couldn't do it earlier. But we already have a list of people we are inviting, and it looks like it will be interesting because people are just interested. And we'll be preparing like questions for each of the workshops. And each of the workshop will be, yeah, as I told, specifically specified in one category. We will decide what we want to do with the people, what we want to achieve with them, and all those people should be prepared for that. And yeah, so we will try to touch interesting and important topics, and just find first common ground between our two ecosystems, then find yeah, some examples, and just talking about topics. So yeah, and also I think that's everything from my side. And yeah, also one nice example, we want to also discuss maybe some actual topics that are happening at the moment. So for example, now it's also, there is like meme coins in both popular in Polkadot. So we want to also have this discussion with the people and just talk about some things that are just happening at the moment. So it's not only comparing things that are existing, but also talking about, yeah, something happening at the moment. So I think that's all from my side. I can next group, Mark, it's your turn.
Hey, thanks for that. Really good stuff. I was just wondering, like, do you need help from the others to come up with more workshop topics, or are you?
We already have a lot of workshop topics. I only sent few examples. We actually had more topics than we wanted to have workshops. We come up with maybe like 10 ideas. So then we just decided to see, we started with, we write all the topics, and we started writing, for example, names and people that can be interesting, or projects that can be interesting to be included in these topics. And we will probably try to either blend some of the topics, or maybe just choose the ones that we think are more important. So I can send it. I can share the document we have after. But as I said, I'm on the phone now. But yeah.
Yeah, I was just like
So,
referring back to what we talked before we started the recording. We talked about the possibility of having some sort of AI-focused discussion, because it's so topical also outside of blockchain. And
that
we
is
have
good idea.
good examples like BitTensor and SingularityNet, which is not exactly Cardano, but these are kind of like trailblazers in this area. So maybe it would be nice to invite those. And then another thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I will take it. I will add it to my notes, and for sure we can do that.
Yeah. I think this kind of like approach where you talk about the stuff that is being talked is good, because it is very timely, and then it kind of allows people from outside of blockchain to also get curious about Web3 adoption.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally, I would like to see at some point, it doesn't have to be now, but at some point, I would like to have discussions where we bring together, for example, DePIN actors like World Mobile and Nodal, to see like what kind of physical infrastructure they are building and what they can learn from one another. And then also RealFi solutions, like Cardano has this thing called RealFi, which means real world impact through blockchain solutions, and Empower is my personal favorite. So if you guys want to have that kind of discussions where we talk about building homes for people in Africa, I would be very happy to connect you with the Empower guys.
Okay, I'm up to that. So yeah, I will add it to the list after the call of the topics we have. And yeah, then I will ask you to maybe connect us, but those will be probably not for first workshops, but for the later ones.
Yeah, I know we have a limited time, so we need to focus on something. All right, thank you so much. Mark, would you like to go next?
Yes. So hello, I'm Mark, Cardano, a developer on the Cardano network ecosystem, I guess. I'm working with Frank, who is a Polkadot ambassador and a developer, if I recall correctly. And we already had 2 workshops previously. The first one, we discussed the similarities and differences of the blockchains based on, so we are approaching the whole interoperability idea based on a very technical level. So we compare the blockchains, which actually did quite a good insight, gave us quite a good insight on what are the technical differences on the blockchains and the technical level. And the next workshop, we invited Felix and also Watson from I think Watson is another developer, and we discussed some wallets with examples, what the functionalities are of the wallets, and so basically the financial aspects of the blockchains. The next plan we are planning to discuss the smart contract frameworks. So like how to work and what are the differences and similarities on the smart contracts based on Polkadot and Cardano. So that's our progress at the moment.
All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
No, you lost Linda.
Let's give her a minute to come back then.
Yes, that was a quick question.
Okay, so in the meantime, do you have these workshops recorded, or do you have some documentation report about the findings? Because these are very, very good stuff that we should have also in the final report.
Yes, sorry, we are documenting, making documents of it. And Frank is a very good note taker. He's actually he's taking notes on the actual happenings of the meetings. That's why he always asks every meeting that can you explain the last couple of last half an hour in 2 sentences. That because that's that's how he works.
Yeah, it's definitely a strength that we have different kind of minds in the group that we can learn from each other's styles of working also. Is Linda back?
Not yet, no.
Okay. In the meantime, Felix, do you have some comments for the other 2 working groups?
No. I would just say so far it's really cool how everything is evolving. Like what is remarkable is that we started quite some nice echo already. So really nice to see more and more Polkadot folks actually in, for example, Twitter Polkadot spaces, retweeting stuff, hinting to each other. That's something really cool what we started here. It's just really nice to see the momentum and just everything really running nice.
To build on that momentum, like I would like to discuss how do we activate people who are already in our Discord?
Over time, right? I mean, right now we are still in the first milestone. We didn't even officially launch the workgroups yet, right? As part of the second milestone. Then I think this will come then once the workshops start and conversations happen that people chime in them.
Yeah, so that's something.
Sorry, guys. My internet connection was a bit shady, but sorry. You can continue. I will ask my question in a minute. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, so what we were just discussing is that like although we are still in the building phase and we haven't officially started inviting people to the working groups and all that, we should also keep in mind that we already have a bunch of people in the Discord, and that is probably the most curious people that we need to invite first. So we need to think like, how do we collectively start activating the Discord channel as we move forward. But yeah, Linda, you had a question for Mark.
Yeah. I was just curious, like, what was the format of the workshop they had? Like, maybe how long it took, and I don't know, like, did you start with some introduction, or did you just jump on in, and just like maybe how it looked like? And sorry for the beach sounds, but I'm sitting outside.
No worries. So yes, basically the second one we had guests. We invited Felix, who didn't need an introduction, and there was Watson, a developer guy who Frank knew about, and Frank introduced him to us. And as we progressed through the workshop, basically Felix and Frank, well, we were looking at the wallets, so the specifics of how an example wallet how works on each blockchain, like Polkadot and Cardano. And Watson was asking questions, going through some suggestions, some ideas. Yes, we had some interesting discussions in the meantime. Well, basically in the break time, with basically on AI. So we discussed some ideas and also nature. And well, yes. So during the break time, we get to know each other's ideas better.
Awesome. In the chat, Felix just
Thank you.
shared the notes from the interoperability group, and this is just amazing. Like, very good note taking indeed. I'll add it to the documentation also.
And I have to say, the workshop was actually quite intense. Mark, how long did it went? 2 hours, 2.5 hours? Like, was really a long one.
Yes, something like that. Or
Nice.
3 hours, not sure.
And this was with 4 people. So imagine we have 40.
Yeah, Watson was out after not sure how much time, but he was also with us for a very long time. I think it was basically because of time zone difference. So it was very early for him.
But that's actually interesting that like I don't know him personally, but I just saw the comment somewhere that he comes from Ethereum, but he's willing to move over to Polkadot and Cardano because he's interested. So I think this is already sending ripple effects to other chains as well. Which actually brings me to the next point, which is a little bit too early to discuss, but if you guys have some ideas of other chains that we should involve later on after the first 5 months, let's have that discussion in Discord, because it seems that there will be more demand for this kind of work that we're doing.
I'm very curious about Solana. I don't have that much experience with it, or maybe almost at all, so maybe that's why it's maybe for me curious, but I will be very open to learn about others. But yeah, it can be a nice suggestion. Solana is quite popular and it's quite fast growing from what I heard or know. So
I think this ideally, from my side, I would say this is ideally something what will come out naturally as well, because as we start to bring people already together, I mean, people know people, right? And I think it's
that's
just
a
a
good
matter of
point.
time that people say, oh, hey, by the way, I know some people from, because to me it happened already, that is, for example, from Cardano Foundation, right, that say, oh, Cosmos could be something really cool because they just built already the Cosmos patch, right? Like some, step by step,
Yeah,
we don't
definitely.
even have to decide. It's like community ecosystems where folks come by themselves then actually, and we attract them more. So we don't have to go to them idea.
Exactly. I just kind of want to know already at this point, like, what do our people think and what do you find interesting? And for example, Solana, for Cardanians, it would be like a red flag. But that's exactly why we're here. We don't want it to be a red flag. We want it to be a purple flag. It's a good idea.
I
signed it, definitely.
Yes, I already posted that in the channel. That well, Tezos would be a personal interest of mine because of formal methods, as I mentioned. I had some knowledge and some work on Algorand, which was interesting because of the quantum resistance. They claim that they already implemented quantum resistance, yes, into the blockchain, and I think it is there, but yes, need to investigate further. There's also, of course, Cosmos based on interoperability, and I was thinking about Ethereum because that's the basis of all smart contract blockchains. So that
actually
might be cool.
Ethereum might be a good start, also good continuation, because there is everything is happening there. So I think it will be quite interesting to see how it can go. And also, as you said, Tezos, I'm also very interested in Tezos. We on Codadot, on our NFT marketplace, we had a lot of artists that came from Tezos. So I spent some of my time also exploring it a bit. And from, for example, for artistic perspective, they have a lot of artists there. And I would also like to find, we will, with Peter, we will have one of the groups is focused on NFTs and maybe also like artsy things. which maybe also which is interesting for me as a person who works with artists quite a lot. And yeah, so that's my bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is something that we can keep on a low flame over the coming months and focus on Cardano and Polkadot in the beginning, but I think the floodgates will open at some point, so we need to be ready for the interest that is being generated here.
And because keeping in mind this proposal only covers 3 months, right? The next 3 months, and only focus on Cardano and Polkadot. We are not paid to, let's say, in this regard, to do anything else, right? So we
Yeah.
need to actually think sooner than later about the follow-up, actually.
Yeah, that brings me to my final point that I'd like to discuss today. So we have the inklings, the kindlings, the beginnings of the proposal for the decentralized futures, which is a program started by Web3 Foundation, and it's only running until July, I think. So June is the last time that we can apply for it. And the whole point of that is to help establish new players, specifically in Polkadot ecosystem. But there, to my knowledge, there isn't any other group that would have established themselves as a cross-chain interoperability unifier. So I think that would be a very logical place to apply for. And if you guys want, I can start preparing that on the side.
A quick question, guys. What do you think about quickly wrapping up this thing here, stop the recording to keep it short, and then maybe still adding 5-10 minutes without recording to check in for next steps then?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Then let's wrap this up. Any final notes on proposal progress on milestone number 1?
So just a note that you mentioned that Peter is setting up all the systems, and thank you also, Felix, for like the very good documentation that you've done regarding project management. And then the focus now should be on onboarding the members into the working groups, and I think that will go on for about a month. And we don't need to wait for the official milestones. We can start today or next week or whenever, and see how it rolls out. But in a month's time, like, the working groups should be kind of finalized, and you should know exactly what you're doing. So
Exactly.
that's the plan.
Nice. And in this regard, we're actually really nice on advance because a bunch of stuff in milestone number 2 already started in milestone number 1. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's the benefit of working with impatient people.
That's true. That's true. Awesome. Then that's so far for the first report. I stopped recording.